If Buju Banton ever sing Boom Bye Bye again anywhere, I can assure he's in trouble. This generation now lack leaders, and we are in a generation of followers.
Tamar said exactly what I would have said, basically.
Yeah.
But
See, it's when I said this man now. I see, and them things I know. See now.
in a throat, no have a all reptimating everything I don't want corner.
I'm not gonna limit to any genre, whatever genre it is.
Yes.
Sing about violence.
Yeah.
And they say, no, let me try to sing a positive song. Put a positive song out there. No sales.
But them can't even listen to them no more because everybody want this in a, and spit in a mouth and down in a throat and more ask them, like on love someone freaky girl. On and those freaky things too. Free sensia.
Very intense, yeah.
She not cross, go over the river. I wish they know. I swim, she swim, come back cross, innit?
Is the success that Afrobeat has gotten in recent times. It's overtaken dancehall music. And I believe it's because the content that they're putting out.
Who the red and the brown and... I'm a vaguely hear that because I'm not going to listen to
I
it.
still Tamar, that sound like hard work. That sound like really hard work. You check so much different source and verify, and that's the thing with nowadays. We just don't have time. We think on about.
Yeah, talk about I forgot to. We need to talk about it. Remember what we talk about. When we say we can go that little piece there.
Welcome to another episode of our Public Opinion Podcast. We want to thank the viewers so far. The subscriptions have been coming in. Viewers' comments on our YouTube page has been streaming in a bit, and we have been replying. So I want to thank everybody, and we appreciate it. Today, we are going to talk about the influence of music on our society, all genres of music. I am Christopher, the host. Today we have Tamar and Connie our co-hosts, and I'm gonna pass it over to them to let them explain or give their views on if they think music has a vast influence on our nowadays society. So, what do you guys think?
Yeah, I agree. Music have positive and negative influence on the youth's their mind, behavior, and the trends. You know, it kind of dictate the direction of culture and how people choose for do certain things. That's how I see it.
What do you think, Connie?
Definitely just the behavior, it influence. You can't see it as sure right now. Most of the youth them are up and down stab people. You know the music it there. If you sit down every day and listen to all of them tune, the way you think I go play out, that becomes you know. Cause me sit down and listen chronically all day, you know. Me get paranoid, you know. No, I'm going for me every second of the moment. You know. Squash. Yeah, man.
Okay. So the question is music a reflection of reality, or if reality a reflection of music? Because I think the artists are just singing what they are seeing.
Most of them not see it, but them just sing about what them hear about.
Okay, so personally, I think it's the easy thing to say that music are influencing crime around nowadays. It's just an excuse. The crime is there. Artists are just singing about what they are seeing or what they are experiencing, and they just put it out to a wider public because it's out there. But I think it's happening everywhere. So I don't want to blame artists for crime.
We're not saying I wouldn't say, because I'm not saying that crime wouldn't exist outside of music. I'm just saying that when you get up every day, right, and majority of the music then what you consume is about bust head, gunshot to the body. They come up with so many creative ways of describing how to one person in music. When you live that every day, and then, you know, again, depends upon the environment where you're in. When you live it and you're seeing what these entertainers are singing about, it becomes the norm. Because they're not singing to say walk away from these things. They're saying, hey, if a boy this gunshot to the head, you know what I mean? And take it even further outside of the community culture where I grew up in. I seen the evolution of music in the States and the UK as well, where the invention of drill music, where nowadays they go and they do a drill. A drill would be like a crime. They go and do a crime,
Yeah.
and then they come back and they rap and sing about it.
Trap
And then now
music was the
everybody, like, you know what I mean? The crime rate spiral. Now you see it, you're going out looking for your ups just to get rid of him and then go make a song about it.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, but I personally I want to defend artists and
Okay.
the music industry because you can watch a movie. Well, songs are imaginary. You have to imagine what the person is saying. When
Not,
you watch
not in all
when
cases.
yeah, it's graphic and they are detailing it,
Yeah.
but then it's just words. There's no visuals to it because even if a music video goes out, it's not gonna
But
reflect what the person is singing if he's singing about something violent. However, when you do watch a movie, I can go and watch, say, John Wick.
yeah.
Doesn't that want to influence me to go out and get a gun and just kill people? Why are we limited it only to music?
That also influence, but it's just because that's the question that you ask. If you say entertainment and a whole influence cultures and peoples, then I would say yes. But this question specifically target music. So in my answer to that is yes. Music, movies, also because when you look at the music and the music video, you go and you see, you know what I mean, all different type of firearms in the music video them and them point it at the screen and because it them associate these graphic things now with being cool. You know what I mean? Yet when last have you seen a music video portraying someone who's book smart, going to work, doing a regular 9 to 5, as someone you can still aspire to be? When last you say that?
I mean, it depends on the genre of music. You have culture. Well, I'm speaking specifically about Jamaica.
Yeah.
So you'll have culture music with that speak about living good, doing well for each other, living a good life every day.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So that music is out there also. But my point of view, I think it's people who are lawmakers and upper class persons, for instance, they find these type of music very distasteful. And because society have in poverty and all sorts of social injustice and that what also leads to crime and violence, they just use it as an excuse to say, okay, then because of this type of music, their crime is going up. We're in that crime has multiple facets to it while why it's going while it's on the rise. Not just the music, because if the society was a very affluent society, everybody was wealthy and everybody was had a good job and everything was all well. So a person could be singing about whatever. That would just go in a person here and come out the next here. It was just entertainment. But when you have, say, a person's hungry, they have access to a gun. Where did these guns come from? They have access to knives. Where did these knives come from? So while persons, the lawmakers are focusing on the music, they're not focusing on limiting the availability of guns, knives, and so on.
They do. They do try to put measures in place to reduce the guns coming in to the country. It's just that it's sometimes it's just ineffective. You know, they're probably using the same strategies and it's just not getting through as it should. But I think they are trying to counteract these things, not getting as many guns into the country. But people as they intensify their ability to reduce that, then whoever is shipping these firearms to the countries, they get more creative as well. So it's an ongoing thing. And then we come from a culture where it's, it's a eat food culture. So if you can put something in somebody's pocket, they will turn a blind eye, even when they know it's damaging the country. But they get to put a little extra in their pocket, so that's just it is what it is. But at the same time, all right, let's go back to the music. When you watch these rappers and dancehall DJs, what do you see? Big chain.
Yeah.
You get me? I say you have the brand, the latest brand. Them. No, everybody is aspiring to be that.
Okay.
Even when, so that's just speak to the influence that they have.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You might not be an artist, or that's not your skill point, but to associate success, that's what you see. A successful rapper, he has on the shiny jewelry. You know what I mean? He's in the name brand and he's driving a Ferrari. So as like you growing up in the inner city or in a garrison, that's what I want.
And
That's why when they don't even achieve it, they still try. Like as soon as they make a money, they have to have on a chain. Or them go get the latest trainers or whatever it is.
and that's where you just mentioned a very valid point, and where it has the most influence. You just mentioned inner city. Inner
Yeah.
city is associated with poverty, if I'm not lying, right? Yeah, so you're not saying that these violent music are influencing upper class, are
It
in
does.
not so much because you don't hear much crime up in the upper class.
You don't hear about it, but it do happen. And then at the same time, I've got friends who used to live uptown.
And do they listen to music just the same as people in the inner city?
Yeah, but they come in the inner city when they used to come check me back in the days, and they come in the inner city, and you wouldn't be able to tell that this person is from a upper class
I get what you're saying, but what
because
I'm
he
saying is
wants to
that
blend in and he likes those
yeah,
music.
like the music, but
Yeah,
is he walking around like a majority of the upper class won't be walking around trying to shoot somebody or stab somebody because they go out and listen to a song? That
but
is kind of predominantly to innocent because I think, and I can't really say, but that's why I think because I haven't grown up in the inner city.
yeah,
I could think it's because of other factors such as social injustice, poverty, and that's just lack of jobs, lack of opportunity, and that's just how most of these kids view success because they have a very dim view of what success actually is.
yeah. Because when somebody becomes successful, they leave the community. So as someone younger growing up, you don't have that much to look up to in certain aspect, because as I said, like when somebody works really hard to become, say, a doctor from the inner city, once he becomes that, he's not staying in that environment anymore. He's gone up with the upper echelons to live the best life, which he works for, he or she works for, so there's nothing wrong with it. But then what that does is it deprive a younger generation coming up to see someone they can aspire to outside of the gangster who the community
But
respect.
really and truly, it's not even saying doctors. It's the same person who are singing the songs. When they get successful and start making money, they go live uptown also.
Exactly.
So they don't stay.
But their reality is now changed. Not saying that yes, they have the trauma from growing up where they experience these things, but it's just now like they've managed to get success from the music. Whether it's singing about their reality, which is
Yeah,
fine, you're singing
getting
about,
opportunities.
huh?
They're getting opportunities which are lacking in the inner city. So that's why I
No,
said,
they create their own opportunities.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. They create it, but it's available now. We're in that a lack of opportunities in the inner city or wherever in the city or wherever leads most of these vulnerable kids
Yeah.
to portray or act out whatever they listen to.
But that's what I'm saying. So you've lived it. And by all means, you sing about it as a means to say, this is my reality. And now you've gained success from singing about it. But where I take that they should be more responsible when they leave is by all means, yes, bring attention to it. But when you get up and you've become successful, and now you also gone uptown where your reality is different, but you know what those people that you left behind are living still. But then you still sing about it because part of your character now is still that tough guy, and you're still portraying the same thing that you wanted to escape nonetheless. But then you give it, you're still feeding it back to the community. Many instances you have some of these same guys, they still go and they buy back guns and carry on the same madness.
I understand that, but I'm gonna
What
bring
say you,
Connie, but I'm
Connie?
gonna bring Connie Bud in the conversation and ask him a question.
Yeah.
If the music was such a problem per se, don't you think the persons in charge, lawmakers, publishers, producers, could do something about it? They say, okay, then we are not gonna put this music out.
Them can't do nothing about it with the internet right now. So basically, the lawmakers, nobody can do nothing about it. Me not blame the music or the artist. It just still have an influence. That's all I'm saying. Because if me speak it, me influence somebody else. Me might be over here so safe, you know. But that person will listen to it every day. I hear gunshot every day. And me have access to a gun. What you expect me for do now? Him uptown I sing about it, you know. But me I live it. And me and my 5 friends them I live it.
Mm-hmm.
What you expect? We are going our gun for protect our little ear right so with it.
And that's what they're saying. But you're saying, okay, I'm gonna go back to something that you said previously. So they can't do anything about it. But I'm gonna bring you to an instance right now where something can be done about it. Because I'm gonna give you an example. Right now, if Buju Banton ever sing Boom Bye Bye again anywhere, I can assure he's in trouble. He doesn't sing that song anymore. So something can be done about the content that you put out. Something can be done about the content that you put out.
But why are they banning his song if it doesn't have any influence?
It's just the person who are in charge feel some way about it and say,
They
okay, we don't
consider
want
it
it.
as being offensive.
Yeah.
And it's
And
influencing
violence
people to
towards
portray violence against that said community.
Do they really though?
it's a boom bye bye.
Yeah, but do
Where boom bye
But
bye
to
be.
yeah,
them,
I understand,
Yeah,
but can it be
it's
linked? Is
violence.
it like somebody go out and portray violence about that
It's
person and say, you know
preaching
what, it's
violence to
because
them.
of I
but they see
understand.
it as that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but okay then. That's cool. They see it as that. But I'm saying that if the other type of music, the gun music, the violent music,
Yes.
is being portrayed as okay, then you're inciting violence.
Yes.
Why hasn't society done something about it?
Because it's too profitable.
Okay.
I guarantee you, all right, in America, you have a particular group who is in charge of music,
Mhm.
right? And they're in charge of what goes out and what consumers receive. But let's say, for instance, like Kanye, he's hitting out against that group, right?
Yeah.
And he's drawing attention to it. Not that I agree with Kanye, but he's drawing the point to saying that, okay, when I talk about set group, then, it's no, cancel me. But set group is allowing me to keep feeding my community these type of music. And we watch over time as it deteriorates. That's how you get the evolution of trap music into drill music.
Okay.
And if they did really care about these inner cities and the impact that the music is having on the community, then they would have just stopped it from day one. It's kind of fizzing out now. because it's like the group them that really kicked it off and make it what it is into a successful genre. They're now died out. So now that genre of music is dying out. But it's still like, you know what I mean? So
Okay, then.
it's too profitable for them to stop. So they won't. It's just the people. All right. So for me, 2010, right? When you have the Sizzler, Kalanja, you have the Caperton, and you have the Jackie with him, they just come out of
Release.
prison.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, he wasn't even out of prison at that time. But
It was
at
putting
that,
out. It was putting out music.
he was putting out music. For me, I'm not saying before that time he didn't have good reggae music, but for me, growing up at that time, that was some of the best reggae music I've ever heard. So we had a good balance at the time where Sizzler really that run the place where you can take a ease from a Vibes Cartel, I tell you about, and the Galar. You get a good balance where you can escape the constant shooting at your head and this and that.
And they have all Richie Spice and
Yes.
the Highway and
Yeah.
yeah, man,
So
the
no
balance is there still.
balance, the good balance is there.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, you don't really have that balance.
Because a
They
more
don't even
younger
play.
artist now
Yes.
get the forefront.
Yeah.
It's just a
And
shift.
then-
It's a shift from our generation to this new generation now, where that the stuff that they consume, we per se don't find it palatable to their ears. And it was probably the same in time we were growing up.
That me just like I say,
And we listened to some other music, and I said, we were telling our dads, and I said, this not sound too
yeah, our
right.
parents them
And they
never
were
let
telling
say
us that
too
the music that we were
derogatory.
listening to was rubbish.
But
Yeah.
to counter that, I would say when we could have still listened to their music. So when our fathers, our uncles was listening to the Gregory Isaac and the Barris, we could have still listened to their music there because there's one thing when you're moving around in the inner cities. Every corner there's a bar and the bar always a play them soft music.
Mhm.
You understand? So I could have still listened to my uncle music growing up at that time. And we used to consume a lot of R&B as well
Yeah,
in the early 90s. A lot of R&B. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So we could have listened to their music there. Even if them say what we are listening to was Boogie Yaga and they don't really want to hear it. Like
Yeah.
when Vibes Cartel just come out and
Yeah.
him really...
But watch this. But then
Yeah.
most of we never have no choice to listen to own music. So we have to just listen what play. Now everybody have them own music.
Yeah,
Them
me
just
used to have
put in
used to
them
have CD player.
and just come on man, Tamar. Most of we
Yeah.
never have no choice to play what we want.
I go school on the bus.
Walk man, this man, do all of them. How much are we can say we did have one of them?
Not a lot. You're right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we have to listen.
Yeah.
Whatever play my big sister and play souls and R&B, that's what me have to listen.
Yeah.
Until me reach a certain age where me outside and I go party, me listen where them have to listen. I never have no access to none of the Walkman and none of the CD and all of that.
But
And now you have your music by your phone, you listen to anything you want.
but you didn't think you have a good balance growing up though?
Yes, there was. But the slackness music was out here, but it wasn't so hardcore like now. And a
Yeah.
more, what you call it, more mature people used to put out music. So they more think about what they must say. Now them picking in a care.
Everybody I try outdo.
All right, then.
That's
They're
a point.
trying to be more gruesome than the other person.
All right, then.
graphic.
Whether it have graphic or slackness,
Yeah.
everybody are waiting. All right, now I would listen to the what's your name, the booty who red and the brown and I'm a vaguely hear that because I'm not gonna listen to it. What's your name?
Sexy Red?
Yes.
Yeah, me
I'm not
not
gonna listen to that.
that's
Why would I sit down and listen to that? But
that's
then,
not your cup of tea, yeah.
But then for them generation, that's entertainment for them.
Okay, so do you think if we limit the content of the music that's going out, we will see a downturn in violence in the society? Or
I honestly believe
or
so.
does do you think it's gone too far now? It's just on its own.
No,
Me,
it will take a while, but if they clean up the music, I think you'll have a more positive, it'll have a much positive, more impact on society. Because my culture is not necessarily a culture that know how to problem solve. Conflict
Mm.
resolution is not something that's prevalent or something that I've experienced growing up. So growing up in a society like that where your influence is coming from so many angles, the dynamics is just different. So if they clean up the music, at least that's one avenue for change, right there. So
it nah go happen. Then kick down the
it
gate and
will,
tear
it
off a
will,
door
it will.
them.
I think that's why.
How? When me
I
can
think
just
that's
cop on
why.
my phone,
Yeah,
get a rhythm, say what more want say, auto tune anything more and just throw it out there.
but eventually
And
they
make
have
become
to,
viral.
because the success that Afrobeat has gotten
Mm.
in recent times, it's overtaken dancehall music, and I believe it's because the content that they're putting out, the quality, what they're singing about, is much cleaner. That even if you don't understand it, you can still jump to it.
Yes,
The
because
vibes,
that
the
can
beat,
play
it
upon
just.
radio. Most of the tune them were out with most of the what them a put out. It can't play upon radio.
But that's what I'm saying. Eventually, if they want that success where they cross over into an American market, then eventually they're gonna have to do it. That's why we're not seeing the success coming out
You
of
know
these
that one of the
entertainers like
problem
back in the days.
where kind of piss me off too. The word crossover. Everybody want crossover. And everybody them a go accept. Just accept say you have a one skilly bang and you maybe have a next one artist will make a collab just like Bojo,
Yeah.
just like Bunty, just like Beanie. And then have a 4, 5, 6 artists that do not crossover. It not got one time. I just one and two them are gonna let through the gate. Loudest in this worry essential.
Very
Eh?
sincere.
She not cross go over the river. I wish she they know. I swim, come back cross, innit?
No, because the music just it's not selling like it used to. When you have a Beanie Man collaborate with Maya or Janet Jackson,
Make
it
him
it
did
sell. Look
make
what
him did
Bounty Killer
cover they
did
got
with,
try do an
our
album.
Bounty Killer
No
did the
doubt.
No Doubt.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Platinum, big success.
One or
So
two
yes, you
tune.
can live in the Jamaican market and still be
Tell
successful.
them go over them go do album and it's what happened to them.
Oh,
Swimming back cross like Shane said.
Massacre last album was under. He signed now, innit? He
No,
signed to
I
a big
think
label.
what Connie is saying is that when they
Yeah.
do a collaboration with say international artists,
Yes.
they now stop singing dancehall and try to start sing R&B or
Alright.
hip hop or something.
Yeah.
But the word
So they
we
stray
say them
away
what
from their
they
roots and what they know, and then
Yes.
try to break into that market. And now he's saying that she has failed miserably there, so she's crawling back now to dancehall to try to get some traction again.
Because she didn't have to do that.
but that me I say
Bounty Killer didn't
everybody
have to
want
do that. He didn't have
none
to
of them
try
can
and
do
sing a
it just
R&B.
to the little 1 and 2 collabs, make your money and stick to your thing. It not going to work.
We can't say stick to the thing if the whole point we are trying to say is if it the influence it have. Obviously, dancer it's a rebrand. Whatever this new dancer is, like trap dancer, whatever they
Yeah.
want to name it. Obviously, it's going to take them time to really flourish, to see its potential. Maybe
It
it does
beat
not,
one thing just like dancer
but it's not transitioning
to where
like back in the days, because still you can still play a 90s medley right now in any dance,
yes.
and different age group will vibes to it. That's because the music had more substance then. We now have a microwave culture where everybody is copying the same style. Everybody is trying to be more gruesome than the next person.
everybody do them own thing.
Not necessarily everybody have to do their own thing. Everybody used
Cause
to
me
do
and
their
a
own
friend, me
thing.
nah come pa your rhythm. You know want me pa your rhythm. You know, me to we not gonna make no money.
But
So
even
me I
if
gotta
you
do
put
my
five
own
or
thing
six
and push out
person
my
on a
own
rhythm,
thing.
even if you still do put 5 or 6 person on one rhythm,
Mm.
in today's at present now
Yeah.
with these current dancehall artists, if you put 5 and 6 of them on one rhythm, how many of them song you gonna skip out?
Boy, I don't even know about.
Exactly.
You can, cause the other day I was about 2, 3 them revamp and put out back.
Yeah,
And it do a good little juggling.
it did.
Yeah.
But if
But it
let's
not
say you
happen
do,
regular.
if they do that, if they consistently do that right now, how long will it last? Again, if you
I
listen
don't
to
know,
it,
cause I'm
but
also
after you
disposable
get to
music
the
still, so.
yeah, it's microwave. Everything is just you're consuming it too much. Not necessarily consuming it too much, but the quality is just not there. For me personally, the quality is just not there like back in the days. The substance, if you put them on a medley, after this third track, you feel like you've just been listening one long track. Because everybody are talk about the same thing but different ways of kill that one person, in my opinion.
Okay, so
Yeah,
let's
get
bring
what
it
you
back.
say.
Let's bring it back now. So, do you think
Yeah.
if we limit, because it's freedom of speech, yeah?
Yeah.
So, do you think if we limit freedom of speech as to what the content of the music, do you think that is a way forward to addressing the influence of the music on the younger generation?
I am not saying to infringe on people's freedom of speech. That's not my argument. My argument is that these entertainers, knowing the influence that they have a responsibility to their communities to give the youth them a better option. If you know the community is filled with crime and violence, you have to start singing something to give them a bit more hope. Again, the music is not as diverse, in my opinion, it's not as diverse now as it was back in the day. I even feel like reggae music is falling
Yes.
off the
So,
map.
all right. So, all right. Let's play the scenario. So,
Yeah.
this artist, I'm not gonna limit to any genre, whatever genre it is,
Yes.
sing about violence,
Yeah.
and they say, "No, let me try to sing a positive song." Put a positive song out there. No sales.
Dead you want me dead for
No
hungry, you know.
sales. What do
Yeah,
you think he's
what?
gonna
Yeah.
do?
Hey,
He's
Huh?
gonna sing
because
what
shot in the
his
face and step
consumers
in
want
the
to
hip
hear.
and
Yeah. When Phantom Mojam did that, this is
Yeah. So
Fire Us.
fire us low on the last video, man. You have
Fire
to
Us.
come down, man. You have
They
to
were
come
trying to-
down.
but that's I think our generation did not do a good enough job to preserve reggae music, to keep it at the forefront. You understand? Chronics did a really good job, right?
yeah,
They are even looking at him as the next coming of Bob Marley. You see what I'm saying?
a stretch, but yeah, it can go. It's
It's
a
a
stretch.
stretch. It's
Yeah.
a stretch. But he was doing a good job. You know what I mean? That album, what was the name of that album?
Chronological. Was it
One of
chronologic?
the best reggae album I've listened to in a long time.
And no longer was that.
Sometime. Let me check. I still go back to it even now.
Yeah, but is he still putting out content now?
No, he's not. That's what I'm saying. The variety is not there.
So that's what I'm saying. So he
Yeah.
put out an album that was, to you, that was a great album.
Really, yeah. See what it was.
Did it win a Grammy? Did it get any accolades? Did it get like
He
lots
got-
of sales?
Yes, he did. He got lots of sales for it. That album did really well.
Did really
I
well.
did.
Yes, that album did
You
really
never
well.
get nominated as
He
well.
get nominated, but
I don't know if he won a Grammy, but I'm not looking for outside. Jamaica need them own awards. I think they need their own award. I'm not looking for outside validation for reggae music or dancehall music. If it's good, it's good. You understand? You can listen it and say this is really good. We don't have to get someone externally to validate the music as deem it good for us. We should know something and listen to it and say this is good.
yeah.
So we need to establish our own music awards so they're not really looked outside validation, in my opinion. But That Chronic album was really good, and Chronic had success. I think you should have kept going. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because then that's another avenue for another dancehall or reggae artist for following his footsteps. But him kind of push back. So then the dancehall, the current trap dancehall, it just it really just run the show.
I think it's a generational thing. Like the younger generation are very easily influenced, and
It's not just the younger generation. My generation was too.
yeah, but well, we are what 80s babies, yeah,
80s babies.
80s, yeah,
Put that on camera.
yeah. We are in our eight. We were born in the 80s.
Yeah.
In the 90s was crime such it was on the rise, but was such a major thing. When we're in our teens, like these guys, these
Most of
younger
the
generation are
artists
in
they
their
would
teens
think
now.
about, they sing about Bossed and that. And mostly girl and
But I said back then you
son,
had a little
yeah.
bit more variety.
Okay.
Most of the gun tune them is like, if me
Not so
reach that
graphic.
point, yeah, and not just because a boy step on my shoes or a boy diss me or a girl look, it was a step like, me hungry again here, go see me nine. It's like
Yeah.
tune like them tune it. But them money just want to walk with them, gonna shoot anything and shoot everybody. Yeah, I got a party, me can't left my gun. You can left your girl, but you not left your gun. Wait, makes sense, you better come a party for.
But as I said, like I think the music
Yeah.
is influenced by outside factors. As I said, I personally think it's social injustice, lack of opportunities, poverty.
If the tune them was about that, it wouldn't mind. But it's not.
They're more glorifying the
The
worst
lifestyle.
aspect, the worst aspect of the community. Yes, there's poverty there. There's poverty, right? And there's struggles. And there is violence. But what gets portrayed mostly is the violence.
That's true.
They're not going to sing, yeah, me come out of poverty, and they're not, yeah. But 3 man down the road.
That
Bossing
sound
head, and when me
appealing to
bossing
me.
head, me stepping night. If you empty the 9,
Yeah.
empty the 9, me go for the AK, I empty that too.
And tomorrow me go catch him on live.
No, that are the thing. So as the culture like shift, they adapt the music to the shift and put it out to the consumers.
And because
Contract,
everybody wants
contract.
more grimy and
Analyzing,
grimy, just
yeah.
get more and more. Everybody a got the extra mile for sound more grimy or be more explicit. Cause most of the youth them can't even listen to them no more. Cause everybody want this in a and spitting them out and down in a throat and more ask them like on love so much freaky girl. On the freaky things too. That more ask them.
That's for another day. That's for another day and another podcast.
All right then.
I want to ask you, give me one really good reggae music you've heard
Recently,
in the last year.
I
Both
would struggle to this one right now, to be honest.
But if I said list 5 good reggae songs from the early 90s to 2000.
No, that's not fair because for early 90s to 2000, you're giving me over a decade to list a song. Just in the last year. So you're giving me 1 year to list a song versus 10 years to list 5 songs. Like,
But I'm giving you no because, okay, no is recent.
yeah.
So you should be easier to find a recent song for throw back something in your memory.
I haven't really listened. To be honest,
Can you
I
give me one?
consume 90s and
Well,
2000s music. I
that's
don't
what I'm saying.
I
consume.
saw now way my brother me listen to him like regular. I can't just put him on and listen to him all day drive. Randy Valentine. But I can't really tell you one of my favorite tune is Black Cinderella. You get me? It's like a Jack Your kind of love song, but in versatile. Him have a lot of different culture tunes.
Yeah.
You get me?
Yeah.
Beautiful is the next tune that we like listen to.
Yeah.
It's a culture tune that.
That recently make?
No, I can't remember the title that recently make, but him drop a album lately.
Okay.
But me never have name and them something there. Me bad with it.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah,
date. So the title them,
yeah,
me not really remember them, but him have a heap of good tune when me know so me can sit down and listen straight.
yeah. I
Y-
think some youths have some untimely demise. You have youths in the garrison with potential to be great, but
Yeah,
never see that not come to fruition because they meet untimely death because of the constant crime and violence and the portrayal of it by the music.
I think another thing also is that we are just being bombarded with music. We're in that back in the day, like aspiring artists had to go to a studio and the producer had to listen to his song first and say, I like this one. We're gonna put that out.
Yeah,
No, these artists, any genre, don't need to do that. As long as you have a phone, you can just video yourself, upload it to YouTube. You have little technologies there right now.
yeah,
Like literally, because they're geniuses, you know. They're quite smart. Yeah, these young kids, they're quite smart. They're dumb,
yeah.
but they're quite
Once
smart
it
at the
go
same
viral.
time.
The dumb and
They're
smart at the
dumb and
same
smart
time.
at the same time. I don't know, I understand it, but they make the little rhythms quick and fast,
Yeah,
and they entertain them friends. And yeah, everybody just do this, and within 10, 15, 20 minutes,
yeah,
they can upload a song to YouTube and a rhythm, and they don't need somebody to let
No
them through a
producer.
gate
That's
to
why I
say,
said the
okay,
gate
then
kick down on the door
you
tear
have
off.
talent and you need to come in and we're gonna produce you, and you don't, you aren't good enough. So
yeah,
whatever content they come up with, they just put it out there. Some of it is catchy
yeah.
for 5 minutes, and it catch
Yes.
and it's trending.
But that's why I say it's in my opinion it's more of a microwave culture now because they're putting out the music so fast, so constant that they're not really focusing on the quality. They're more focused on the quantity,
And they're not thinking about the
longevity.
not even longevity. They're not thinking about the effects of this work, the words that they're putting out. They're not really
No,
thinking. They
no,
just
that's why I
want to
said they're
No,
think.
because of the
We
competing.
money.
want to get rich quick. Like put
All
out
Yes,
right.
some songs, YouTube gonna pay me. You know what I mean? I'm
Now
gonna
for
get
wait
called
pan
for a
man a
show.
producer for this and
Yeah,
give
a
away.
promoter's gonna give me 200,000 to come and sing 5 songs for the
yeah,
night, and that's a quick living
but that's why
because
they burn out so quick.
Yeah,
That's
because they're
why they
not for
might
dead
have
right
a
now for you dead.
2 to 3 year run.
and that's true. But I think also, as I said, still it comes back to lack of opportunities. Lots of these inner city youths are just they go to school, fall out of school. They think, okay, you know what, singing is the next best thing. It's the easiest thing for me to get into right now.
Yeah,
So they just go into it without thinking about the words that they're saying, about owning the craft, you know what I mean, about the ins and outs of the music business. So just think, you know, I fell out of school, don't want to do the 9 to 5 because that's not it.
yeah,
I don't want to work for anybody. You know,
yeah.
what, let me just sit down. I
They
got
want
lots
to
of
be
free
the next
time on
big
my
rapper.
hand.
Yeah, they want to be
Let
the
me
next
write
big
lots of
artist.
songs. They might like write lots of rubbish, but one might take hit, and from there, you just need one good song right now to be a so-called trending artist,
Once it go viral, you're
and
good.
that's it. You one good song can bring you out to many countries, you know.
Yeah, but
So
it's
that's their way out. So they say, okay, then I see that artist who's singing violent songs, he's making lots of money. So
yeah.
that's the way to go. So I'm gonna sing that also. I don't think they sing it because they say, okay, then well, I have a gun, so I'm gonna sing about the gun that I have. They just say, okay, then he's singing violent music, he's making lots of money, so I'm gonna sing violent music also.
No, but it's the portrayal of the gangsterism.
Yeah.
You're in a community. Remember, the gangsters get more respect than somebody who do a 9 to 5.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So when you get opportunity to boss, so to speak, right, and you're already starting off with the gangster image portrayal, and you live in the environment that where that's what you see. So yeah, sing about what you see, and you're singing about what you live.
Mm-hmm.
Then you put that into your music and you send it out.
Yeah.
But then you also compete with someone from a different community who's an artist, who's already graphic, whose content is already denigrating. It's the same thing, but you're just come up in with creating some more creative ways. What he said, you're trying going to the Connie said it. You're trying to go harder than what he said. You're trying to be more gruesome and graphic in your lyrics than
Yeah.
his
Yeah.
lyrics. So you're competing in the same gangsterism that's in the community anyway. Because my community is you can't if it is just across the street. Not even just my community, even in the UK now. You have postcode violence.
Yeah.
You understand? You can't go certain places because of the postcode. And then the same drill rappers they rap about it. You
Okay.
understand? So
So
it's not just a Jamaican thing, it's an overseas thing,
no, no.
like I said.
I just speak in general. I'm not really limiting anything to Jamaica or any particular genre. I'm just
Yeah.
speaking in general. So,
If they don't clean it, because okay, again, if you go to a session right now where you can have a 90s juggling, again, would you see a medley music then?
yeah.
You can have a 90s juggling. I don't know if you can have a two which juggling? A
Yeah,
2025 juggling,
no.
2015 juggling with
No,
with
but
them music that
but
was
you're
created in
saying, I
that time.
understand what you're saying, Tamar. You're limiting yourself to just what you think, because I'm
Mm,
sure, like, if these new artists now
yeah,
go somewhere and have a concert, the concert is full with
yeah,
the younger generation. So even for you, it's this distasteful to listen to it and say, "Oh, the music is garbage." But for the younger generation, the music is good
mm,
because that's what they want to hear. So that is where now a problem comes in on how do we go about correcting this wave that we have and put it back on the so-called right path, because who determines what type of music is good or bad to listen to? Who as I say, who is the gatekeeper to say, okay, you can put out that type of music, but not that music? You get what I know what I'm saying?
well, management, record label, again,
Producers on radio,
producers, yeah.
television.
Remember
But you cannot force somebody to listen to something that they don't want to hear.
That's
that's
why.
true. That's
That's why
and
I
the
say you
YouTube would
can't
have make it
control it no
hard.
more.
Yeah.
And
That's why
I'm
I
You're
say
right, because you
gate
cannot
kick
control.
off, door tear off. You can't do nothing. You would have signed Amari as an artist. Where is she now? Hmm?
but that goes for a lot of the artists then.
It just shows that anybody can be an artist, anybody
Yeah.
can become a superstar. Even TikTok people, right, you know, a superstar. You wonder when since somebody just sit down on him, But one more and try
No,
before
but
we
all right.
straight. The
Yeah,
same
go ahead.
influence on music. Past the words and all of that.
Yeah.
Got to the feeling where it give to you.
Mhm.
When me listen love music, me want to feel love.
Yeah.
When me listen culture music, me I think righteous and my people them. When me I listen gun tune,
I feel violent and dark.
when me I say spitting a tune, me want have a all reptibate in the bit in one corner. You get me?
So your influence
So
also
the music
influence
give
your
you
feelings. Okay.
See me like movie, but you're not constantly a watch a movie. You're
Constantly
constantly
hear the music.
listening to the music. So the music, that feeling build up in you. That's why me I say me can sit down and listen to whole chronic law. Cause right now me I pray everybody me look through window, which
Okay. So
absolutely
you're
a
saying
big
that
problem.
the music speaks to your soul.
Them not tell you when the
Okay.
music hits you, you feel no pain. So it have an influence.
Yeah.
Okay, that's true. That's true. You were gonna say something, Tamara. What are you gonna say?
I can't even remember. I can't
Okay,
remember.
okay, okay.
I think
We-
that yeah, sorry.
Mhm.
No, yeah, what I was gonna say is that eventually the drill music died out because people just stopped listening to it.
You stop listening to it. Check the
Exactly.
younger them.
You stop
Yeah?
listening to it. It's
Check the
still
younger
there.
them.
It's still there.
Not
And
not
them I make the
as not
music.
as how it was back in it, because you have like what Central C right now.
I have no
UK
idea. I
Central
don't
C.
listen. I don't
They
listen to
really
drill.
make some good music.
That are the one will come from the underground and reach into the limelight. But you have dozens more around down there and them TikTok, Snapchat, the whole of them,
Exactly.
the younger them
As I
been
said-
The
watching them.
gruesome stuff now really take off on TikTok. The type of music them that's taking off on TikTok now is some simple thing.
You
Yeah.
not getting that feed. They're getting that feed.
Which feed?
The younger generation who want to hear the violence, they know which underground
But them
party is
call it
going
the
this weekend.
algorithm.
Yeah,
It
so they
not- the
know where
algorithm
to
they
go.
not come
Even
to your
though
phone, 'cause
the
them
music
not
might be
tracking.
edited when it comes out on social media,
Yeah.
they have means to get the unedited version, which they consume and they like, and they
Yeah.
know which place that artist is gonna be on the weekend, and they go and they pay the money to go in,
Yeah.
and the artists get paid, promoters get paid, everybody's happy, so it continues.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So, I mean, how do we say, okay, how do we fix this so-called problem?
I don't have an answer to how you fix it.
Can't fix.
I don't have the answer for that.
The
The only thing I
generation-
can say is that with success come responsibility. You know? So the entertainers, once they make it out and that's no longer your lifestyle, I don't think if you really push that energy back into a group of people that you know what their day-to-day is like now that you've escaped it. I think they just don't want to be responsible.
Yeah.
So
Enough
like
of them.
Vibes Cartel at one point say him not responsible for what happened to your kids.
I'm an appearance.
Him say him not the parent, so him not responsible. But
But him a
when him
hypocrite.
and Mavado had their situation, that take off even into schools. So as
And-
not wanting to be accountable, they say that they don't have the responsibility of growing people's kids. But when you're in that environment and that's all you have, and the music is all you consume, and it's your day to day, and you live by every single word that entertainer put out there, then definitely.
Technically, they're not wrong, though. Technically, they're not wrong. Like, it's up to parents to
Watch it now.
to grow your child right and know that this is just music. You shouldn't be influenced by this. They are just
You
there
as
to
a
entertain.
parent, what you talking
I
about? You as
shall
a
be
parent, no.
ignorant.
You
Yeah.
as a parent know
Should-
when you have to work and you have another child at the school and doing every single thing that you do in the space of 3 months as a parent. What you talking about? You have a good child and he go to secondary school and he meet this one bad apple who has all the influence in the world over him, even more than what you say. And they
Yeah.
end up in a gang. It's not all bad kids end up in gang. You have good kids that end up in gang too.
You have a point.
Watch this. You have a phrase I go around say, I shall speak it into existence. You speak it into existence for boss said. So Eda go boss. Yeah, bro. Me I blame you. Yeah, me I blame you. Yeah.
But they've influenced all these new artists, you know.
Them speak it into existence.
So, okay then. What do you think, audience? Do you think music influences the younger generation and just the population in public? Or do you think that the artists are just singing about reality and what they see? Give us your opinion, put it in our comments, and we are going to move on to something that's related. Another topic. Do you think the society is too easily influenced by social media? That is the question.
Yes.
Tamar?
Yes.
So is it a problem with the nowadays society, or is it a case where too many people have access to a mic and a camera and just put content out?
Yes, we are currently in a opinionated generation where everybody has a say.
I agree with that.
I mean, it's well, we ourselves have a podcast here sharing our thoughts and opinions.
So we're kind of hypocrites then, you
Yeah,
say.
but we're not. I'm not.
Hypocrite them.
We're just
Corruption.
we're just giving our opinion on certain things, right? And I'm not trying to lead anybody anywhere. I think anybody that's listening to this podcast should be able to come to their own determination of what we're saying. They agree or they disagree. But I think a lot of other people have their predetermined notion where they the content that they choose to put out, it's manipulative and disingenuous. And they know what they're doing is wrong and they're putting out misinformation, but because they care more about the views, they don't really care about what they're saying.
It's about being the first to put something out
Yes.
and not really care if you're telling the truth. You just want to be the first.
Yes.
So that's where that comes from.
Yes.
And I think in this time now, like too many people go on social media and get influence and being told how to live their life.
Yes.
They've been told how to live their relationship, how
Yes.
the man should treat them. We don't want to go back into relationships again because we've been beating on that topic for quite a few podcasts now. But just in general, I got lots of so-called influencers telling you how you should look,
Yes.
how you should dress,
Yes.
how you should live your life,
Yes.
or what should offend you and what should not be offensive.
Yes.
And it's just too much. There's just too many people out there right now with a mic and a camera just putting out nonsense,
Disinformation,
really.
Yeah. Nonsense.
Just nonsense. So I limit myself a lot to social media. I don't even on certain things. We got lots of people there on TikTok, Snapchat, Facebook, Instagram, everything you can think of. Grindr, Tinder, everything. Everything that's on social
Tinder,
media.
what's Tinder? Grinder, what's Grinder?
It's a dating app. Don't act like I don't know. But anyways, I'm just saying, anything that's out there
Yeah.
that you can have a social influence with somebody else, they're on it. Just because they want to be, so say, in the know.
Yeah.
And they're pretty much too influenced and they're basically living their life for somebody else. Who themselves are not practicing what they preach, because most of these people who are so-called influenced, you don't see their lives outside of the camera. So you don't know what they are doing and how they are living their lives.
And this is just one person
Exactly.
influencing
Thousands.
thousands. They call influencers now, innit?
Yeah.
Influence what happened in your household. Influence how you raise your child. Influence up to how you're supposed to behave in society.
Yeah.
They now dictate the norm. What's norm in society? Why if you dictate?
Oh,
Why?
don't make me correct you.
Why you do that?
Yes, me I look by you. Don't make me correct you. Don't make me correct you. All right, then.
Yeah, so it's all right. So let me not go say no.
You already low, man. Come in,
Ah,
pan this.
yeah.
Why
You
if you
throw
that
me
talk?
off. You know?
How did I say
Right,
it?
Lou.
See, the why I'll throw me after. How did I say no?
You talk about the influencers
Influence,
and them,
alright,
how
yeah.
they
Alright.
manipulate
Yeah,
The
people.
opinions
Kardashian
is not a
influence the
problem to
world.
me, you know. And the people them who want live like that person. Cause me can't live in a 2-bedroom house and they sit down and watch the Kardashian them and I say, oh, I want to live like them. How the hell am I live like them? Eh?
It's living out it's a
Fantasy.
fantasy.
Okay, then so
Living
now
as a
I wanna
fantasy in
stress
your head.
myself and stress people around, you know.
And
Push
then
yourself to
push
go beyond
yourself
your
beyond
needs.
where you can afford it. And
Okay.
so they wear this shoes and say, oh, I saw them in that shoes and yeah, I'm gonna get that shoes also.
All right.
And I'm gonna go hungry for 2-3 days just to get that shoes.
When I pocket money, muse buy that. Why?
But
I'm
no. Or
Cause
they get it
people
free.
stupid. All right.
They get it free.
As
But
an
then you
endorsement.
see them in it.
And not to harp back on the previous topic we just covered about if one Kardashian family can influence so many people, Why the constant violent music can influence
All
a
right.
whole community?
I never really.
Look at
You
it
have a
like
point. You have a point. You have a point. I'm stuttering. You have a point. I don't. Yeah, you have a point because I don't really look at artists as influencers, although really and
everybody these
truly they
days are
are
Well,
because
if a
influencers.
along.
weak mind out
Yeah.
there, you
Yeah,
know, a whole lot. Cause me come from the ghetto, me never pick up gun, but
exactly.
a whole lot with
Pick up the
weak
gun, yeah.
mind pick it up because they must say,
Gun, the
I
smoking.
cannot do any better, which I know I could,
Mm.
cause nobody never take none put in a man and say you have to do this. So most of who do it, I choose
But
them
is that
choose.
okay? Okay, okay. But do you think that weak mind comes from lack of parenting?
No.
Some might
No.
lack of confidence.
No, because like what I said previously, is that you could do your best job as a parent where in your eyes you're the best parent in the world.
Mm.
And your son, child, daughter end up in a gang same way.
Yeah, choose for that.
Yeah, it does
Because
happen. It does happen. It does
yeah,
happen where
so
you try your best and social
Straight.
media just get the best of your child.
yeah,
Like they
social
just
media now
gravitate
will
As
grow your child
to
if
And
you
I,
what
don't
I,
it
and
careful.
it
is.
wasn't even social media, cause back then it was talking about my community. You know,
Yeah.
yeah, good son will come from uptown. You know, just want to hear about this, and I'm fascinated. You don't know same down they say every day down at Kingston 14. And
That
we
used to
up at top
happen.
of St. Andrew come from, you know.
Yeah.
And you treat him good, you give him everything every summer him fly go foreign, but like a chance him get down at Kingston 14 him reach. Cause the
Yeah,
influence.
Yeah, because some people are just fascinated with certain things. It don't matter how much you try with
Alright.
them, that's just what they want. And
But
they're gonna do what they
most
want to
of
do.
them, I just follow them and follow, and them just need to live them own life.
so
Stop watch
you're
people
going
life.
how can you navigate now as world? Because social media ain't going nowhere.
Yeah, I
So
think
how
in
are you
this
supposed to
generation
navigate that?
no,
Yeah.
this generation no lack leaders. And we are in a generation of followers.
No, them have leaders, but good leaders
Yeah.
are positive leaders.
Good
Cause the
leaders.
leaders where I lead them astray.
Yeah.
Yeah. But for you to have so many people following, you have to have lots of followers.
Yes, cause them are run down
Yeah.
negativity. So them I go run them down.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So
So we need
And take
positive, good
everything we say
leaders.
as gospel. I don't want nobody to ever take what I say as gospel. I want you to challenge everything that I say. Because I'm even surprised I'm even on camera here. But I live my life and I learned to be more of a critical thinker now, later on in life. Even though I wasn't easily influenced as a child, but now I've become much more of a critical thinker than in the past. And I think navigating through a generation where social media is dominating the world,
yeah.
you have to be much more of a critical thinker to know to dissect the information you get and challenge it rather than take everything someone say as gospel.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But the thing, and that's what I don't understand with this generation now. Because there is something that is
Yeah.
called, there's something that's called Google.
Yes.
Information knows at your fingertip. You don't need to go to a library to find out something.
Yes.
You don't need to ask anybody. The same phone that you used to be influencing you, and somebody tell you that, listen, the sky is gonna be pink 2 days from now because of whatever reason.
Yes.
You can just take your phone, switch off from the social media, go onto Google it, and say, oh, that person talking rubbish. But
Yeah.
no, they don't do that.
No, they
They
don't.
just pass on the information, and that's it. They just
As
say
if it's
as if it's like,
accurate. Yeah.
yeah. So then you have like 5 persons now
Yeah.
saying the same thing because they want that content now on their platform
Yeah.
and just passing on information without even considering is this true or is this false.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. And lots of people seeing this influence now as easy money
Yeah.
because everybody
One
say, you
do
know
not
what, let me
add.
just go on this. And once I reach a certain amount of followers, it's easy money without really and truly taking the time out to be responsible about what they're saying.
What them I sell.
There's only a few content creators who do that. But again, it's just the same as he's saying, like the younger generation, they're gonna choose to listen what they want to listen to.
Yeah.
So just as how we might hear certain things and we're like, this is nonsense.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear this. They're gonna take it as, yeah, this is it.
Mm.
This is the facts because it's coming from him. And nobody can tell them otherwise.
That's true. That's true. And
And
like,
they build the fan bases like that where, bruh, you can't tell me nothing.
yeah, I understand what you're
Whatever
saying,
this
'cause,
person said, this is it.
yeah, I like Googling. I like challenging people. Because I don't trust mankind, because mankind are evil. So if somebody tell me something which I am not sure about,
Yeah.
I gotta challenge them, I gotta try to find out the truth. Even I go to church
Yeah.
and the pastor preach and he says something, I have to be like, that not sound right to me still. I have to think. Like, I'm not because I'm in the pastor's house and yeah, like he knows the
Alright,
Bible
then.
better than me or whatever.
Yeah.
So whatever he says, I'm gonna run with it.
Yes.
And take it for gospel,
blind
literally
faith around
gospel
here.
in the house of God. But I'm gonna listen to it and say, based on my little knowledge that I have, I think what he's saying is rubbish.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna Google it and find out what's what. I'm not gonna challenge him in church because it's not for me to challenge him in church. But I just know that what you're saying isn't adding up,
Yeah. Yeah.
and that's for my own gratification, and that's just how I am as a person.
Yeah.
But most people don't take the time out to really and truly try to find out the truth. They just want the next best news, what's trending, to pass it along, and
Yeah.
and that's it, and that's just wrong. Yes, Papa. So how do you think we can navigate through this time where we are, well, not we, because I'm not being social, I'm not being influenced, to where society is being so influenced by these so-called influencers? Do we need to start from our kids now? So by the time they are adults, they influence their kids? Or can we limit the content that's being put out there so that influencers verify information before they put it out, which is the responsible thing to do? Or we are just doomed? What do you think? What do you guys think?
Doom, Jaja.
Doomed.
Yeah, man.
Me no only one thing can solve it. No make no money involved. Nobody no want do it. Simple. But it not got because this is how society run. This is how the world run. So money I got involved so it can't stop.
But even so, even so, even the news that we consume, it's not factual, most of it.
Again,
It's just what's out there, and the news agencies want to be the first one to put up breaking news without all the facts. So in this world right now, we live in a world of deception and lies.
yeah.
It's very hard to navigate to find the truth.
AI coming.
AI
into
come now and you
so
can't
it's-
even believe your own eyes because
Right.
the
So you
content
can't
that they
believe your
create,
ears.
can't believe your ears,
And you can't believe
can't
your
believe
eyes.
your eyes. But audience, what do you believe? Honestly, can't believe your ears, I can't believe your eyes. What do you believe? It's
You have to
hard.
be more critical thinkers. You have to know how to receive the information and decipher it.
But
And-
sometimes the truth is well hidden. That's the thing, If somebody wants to hide the truth is well hidden.
Yeah, but that at university, them teach you to go to reliable source,
Yeah.
whether it's academic. You know what I mean?
Mm.
You can find reliable source, but in this generation, you have to do a lot more research. You can't take everything as face value because everybody has an ulterior motive and an agenda that they're pushing. So they're constructing, even mainstream media today,
Mm.
they're constructing the information in a way where it's more favorable to set group or whoever they are in cahoot with.
Okay. What else both of you a question?
Yeah.
Do you believe everything that Google or Wikipedia tells you? Because that's our normal source of the truth. We go on Google and we Google stuff. So if our source of the truth, we have doubts about it, where do we find the actual truth?
Again, it depends. It depends on what you're looking for. Again, I know to look for reliable sources and where to go to look for a reliable source. But if it's just a mainstream news outlet, maybe that's the good thing I would say about social media today is that you will get multiple viewpoints, and you'll be able to, by being a critical thinker, you'll be able to come to your own conclusion. But if you're just a lazy listener, someone is just taking everything that they give you as a consumer, then you're in trouble. But the good thing with social, even though everybody is trying to put out the information, you can go and find a source that is give you from a different perspective. So, for instance, for me, the Ukraine-Russia war, when that just kicked off, it was really difficult to find anything from a Russian perspective and a Russian point of view as to why this is happening, where they are. At one point, you would think that Ukraine is about to win this whole thing.
Yeah.
Only to find out that Russia took two communities, like two regions away from them overnight. And I'm like, I've been following this news, and they're telling me that Ukraine is pushing back on the help that the other countries have been giving them. I was lost. But because I was able to look for other sources and find other materials to read, still not coming to a conclusion, but eventually the truth came out where mainstream media could not hide it anymore.
Okay.
And they had to eventually come out. But when they did come out and let it be known, I already know about it because I had checked different sources.
Nah, like still Tamara, that sound like hard work. That sound like really hard work. We have check so much different source and I verify, and that's the thing with nowadays. We just don't have time. It's the same 24 hours in the day, but we just don't have the time to do what we normally do because our life is so consumed with work, everything else. We just don't have the time. So I just said sometimes we just turn lazy listeners. Yeah, because we just don't have the time to go and research so many different angles about what is the truth. And
Depends
to be
on
honest,
what you care about.
yeah, that's what I was about to say. Depends on really and truly. Does it really matter when we do find the truth? Is it really here nor there?
Yeah, because
sometimes not.
For me, it does, because then I can go and teach my kids how to be critical thinkers. Because you'll have my son come every now and then and he'll ask me about what's happening in Ukraine because they're talking about it at school.
Yeah.
So then I can explain to him, son or my daughter, that, hey, look at this. And it's something different from what he's been told at school. And I'm telling him, you don't have to believe this as being the truth, but now you have a different perspective. It will cause a bit of conflicting thinking and a bit of confusion. But in the end, again, when they can no longer hide the truth, you know what I mean? And it come out eventually, then it feels good. You come back and it feels good to say, okay, I didn't believe it. I was thinking this at one point, but now you showed me this, and now I'm seeing this. So thank you.
What do you think, Connie, about it?
I forgot to remember of the talk, but when we say if we can go that little piece there. I forgot about it, father. Sorry. People tell me I can't talk here, sir. Let me try this thing here.
All right.
Yeah. As to what Tamar said, yeah?
British accent, yeah? Okay.
Yeah, me trying to twang. Yeah.
So
But
Let's hear it.
I
Let's hear
forgot
it.
what I'm gonna say.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Basically, Thomas said exactly what me and say, but
No. English, please,
Ah.
sir. English.
Thomas said exactly what I would have said, basically.
Yeah.
But I forgot to be
It's when me I said this man now.
This whole
I say,
plugging thing,
and
yeah.
them
Me have to
things I
think,
know.
but
See
I
now
don't
me,
remember what me like I
yeah.
said.
See me now I got
Kind
my
of flame,
Jamaican
yeah.
accent now. And them things I know cause confusion in a
Alright,
society.
Yeah.
It's brother. It's
I
where
have to
cause.
remember what me like I said.
Yes, where cause.
Go on, your
Yeah,
English accent.
you get
Go on.
information from every other angle.
Yeah.
And then with all of that information, you put them together, see what makes sense, see what not make
That
sense.
makes sense. True.
And this more logicable than this. So this more
Feasible.
assure,
Yeah. This more. Yeah.
so
Plausible.
this more
Plausible,
because no
yeah,
one
yeah.
really know what's the
What
truth.
really happened. And
No
that's
one really
and that's
know
and that's the
what's the
thing sometimes, you know, because
But yeah,
even some things in say history, it happened. And when it happened, the person said, boy, you know, say, can't put this out there now. So we gotta tell everybody that this is what actually happened.
Yes.
And this no lie that they created have become the truth. And
Yeah.
this is what's out there. So how are you now gonna find out that what has been the known truth for how many years
Yes.
didn't actually happen?
Because other people was writing at the time.
That truth I got die with whosoever was witnessing it at that time.
No, there is.
You know what I'm saying? And then
there
it's
is-
gonna be it's gonna be a small few who are telling what is supposedly the truth. But the
Yeah.
masses are telling you that this is what happened.
Yes.
And then now the truth is gonna be like, are they really telling the truth or what everybody else is saying is the truth?
But then when you get something that's conflicting, when you find information from other researchers who are giving you something contrary to popular belief, then you look at as, is something wrong with this guy? Why is he saying this when we know this is what happened? When that's not necessarily what happened, but it's a lie that they continue to tell. You know what I mean? Again, because I like information, so I will go and do the research.
Inquisitive, yeah?
Yes, I'm very inquisitive. So you do
Pick
have
up that.
revisionists
Mm-hmm.
that goes around and they give you a revisionist take where they go over and examine the information and the details, and they give you something a little bit more nuanced, something different from popular belief or what's been portrayed for years. So because most people like being brainwashed, so they
I
don't
don't
want.
think it. No.
Yeah, they don't
People
want
like
to
to be brainwashed.
Yes, because it's comfortable.
To get brainwashed.
it's easier.
It's easier to live your life just going with the norm. When you start challenging things that's been given to you for years upon top of years, then you start, people looked at you like, what's wrong with you? Why are you questioning this? When
Where you're the black sheep, where you get against
Exactly.
the
Because
trend.
they're agreeing.
Yeah.
But I've learned to question things. I don't really go with everything I hear. I like to take my time with information and what I consume, because I've been misled before with information.
Yeah. We all have.
So I don't like that, and I rather go and do my research to find not exactly the truth, but something close to it. Because I'm still not saying the alternative is the truth either.
Yeah.
But from gathering the information from both sides, I can come to my own conclusion.
They seem more closer to the truth.
Yes.
So you find a more believable lie.
All right. Then.
Yeah. A more
No, it's
believable
not. That's
lie.
not
Yeah.
more believable lie. That's what I'm saying.
It's something closer to the truth. Is it the truth or a lie? So
Yeah, because
Who knows what is the truth?
Yeah,
so
that's what I
it
just
is
said
a
to him.
closeness.
exactly.
That's
That's
what
why
I
I
just said
said
to
I
him.
don't necessarily have to believe the alternative. I don't have to believe that and say this is accurate. But from getting something from a different perspective and going back to see, okay, this was written in that book, but it was written this way. But he's saying this was done this way, and he's providing sources. Both materials are providing sources. But then it just, once you get that information, is what you choose to do with it. So if you're teaching your child, if your child like history, and you're teaching your child, then it's easy now for you to say, okay, has to do what they're telling him because in order to get the marks,
Yeah.
he has to do it their way.
Mm-hmm.
But you can still tell them, okay, this is what is always been the case, but this is what happened.
Okay. You touched upon something I like more and challenge you now.
Alright.
Yeah, you touched upon something I like I
How
say
much money
like
you have? Yeah.
so you like to do research and then you talk about book and thing. And we are talk about the ultimate book. The
Yes.
Bible. Have you done any research on the Bible?
Yes, sir.
That's the research. You know the truth.
I don't know the truth. I don't know the truth.
Okay.
I don't know
So
the
you
truth.
say you haven't really done your critical thinking.
I've done the research, but maybe this would be a good one for follow up for the
You will
next
follow up
episode.
with that. Someone touch upon it
But
right now.
I've done my research with the Bible. I've done my research with the Quran, and I've done not as extensive as a research on the Torah.
Okay.
But there's a commonality with the three major religion out there. Because you have your Hindu and the
Yeah,
Buddhist
yeah,
and
yeah.
so on. But there's still elements of Christianity that exist within them three, within the other religions anyway. But I've done enough research to know that there's similarity within the three.
Yeah.
They're almost saying the same thing, but they're different in a lot of ways.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
All right,
okay.
you gotta hold it this till we
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
episode.
You gotta touch
Yeah,
on next
'cause-
episode. We're gonna touch
yeah.
on the Bible where Tamar has done his research
Mm-hmm.
and he knows the truth.
I didn't say I know the truth. I didn't say I know the truth. Connie know the truth.
Me, the whole light of life for me, you know.
Ja.
So I mean, we're gonna put the truth side of it.
Jesus, forgive me.
All right,
All right.
I have a
Jesus,
big book.
forgive me. I
I'm
not even be a part of the
on the devil
podcast.
side
then.
not too long ago. You know.
I don't think I'm gonna be a part of that podcast.
Next episode.
All right.
All right, I may see it a lie next episode, man.
I think I'll skip that. No, leave it in there, man. I think I'll skip that podcast. But, Papas, that will be your next podcast. We're gonna be talking about the Bible and the research that Tamar has done, and we're gonna get Connie Bud's view. We're gonna find a pastor for. We're gonna try to locate a pastor who's open enough and ready and willing to come and speak about the Bible. Open invitation to any pastors or evangelists or anybody who wants to pass through and uphold their Christian values and explain more about the mysteries of the Bible. Feel free to come through, reach out to us. We'll get you here and we'll have a discussion. Okay? See you. We're out.
Out.
Pop
Pop.